Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights. Today we are going to discuss on the data engineer roadmap. There are so many tools available in the market that it's getting very difficult and confusing to start the career in data engineering. I was getting many questions from students and working professionals and my friends who are willing to start a career in data engineer or wanted to switch in the career, but they are clueless from where to start and how exactly to start with. So in this roadmap, I will explain you from where exactly to go ahead and start with and what will be the correct path basically to choose on in order to become a data engineer in 2023. If you follow this roadmap sincerely and consistently, then you will have the most demanding skill set in the market in 2023. So follow this video till the end and share with your friends as much as you can so that your friends get benefit out of it. If you feel this video added some value to your knowledge or helped you, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you are new to my channel, then hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to avoid missing any notification. This roadmap is good enough for the freshers and experienced people, as well as the intermediate people who have just started with their data engineer journey. So, if we start with this data engineer roadmap, you will see on the right side there are few tasks, and on the left side there are some few tasks. So, on the right side of it, it's like a foundation thing and it's must to have that you need to begin with, then progress on the left side of it. So I'll explain one by one what it is and how exactly to cover these pointers. So the first point that you will see on the right side, it's the SQL. So SQL is basically a bread and butter of data engineer. It is one of the most important language that every big data or the data engineer use in their day-to-day life. So what's exactly SQL? SQL is a structured query language. It is basically used to communicate with the database. If you want to go ahead and get any output from the database, then you need to know this language. So what all things are the major pointers in order to learn this? Let's get deep dive into it. So if you will see, the first pointer is joins. Joins is like super important, I can say. Joins can be of any type. It could be a inner join, could be an outer join, left join, right join, anti join. Make sure you have a good grasp and join. Then comes on filtering out of data. So to filter out of data, you need to have a knowledge on how to use your where clause, order by, group by, having. Once you know how exactly to filter the data, then you have the case statement. Case statement is nothing but it's similar to your if and else statement in any language. Then comes with the subqueries, aggregation, CTE. So aggregations can be to calculate any minimum value, maximum value, the count of it. So these are some kind of aggregations and CTE. Then comes the windowing function. Windowing function can you can have either an overclass, row number, dense rank, lag, lead, again count, max, and min, right? So this windowing function is one of the favorite questions of interviewers, right? They might ask you. So don't forget to basically learn on this. Not only learn basically, but go ahead and practice each and every step thoroughly, because SQL every day a data engineer use, right? So if you are appearing for any interview also, then 40% of it will be a SQL thing. If you lack in SQL, it will be higher chances that you don't clear that interview. So make sure this is one of the most important. Therefore, I've given it as a priority on the first place itself. Learn SQL, and it will not take much time in order to learn it. So make sure you learn this first. Then comes with your programming language. Programming language, if you are a computer science background, then you will be aware of programming language. But even if you are not from computer science background and you don't know any programming language, then you can start with Python, because Python will be the easiest language to learn if you are new to it. So in data engineer, you can go ahead and use three languages which are most widely used, either a Python, Scala, or Java. I would recommend to go with Python because Python is the data language, right? So there are so many modules, so many libraries that is available for data manipulation and data analysis, which make it a globally and widely used language for this particular field. Then comes with your Linux commands and shell scripting. So most of the machines that has been designed for the data, they are basically Linux machines. So either you can pick any one Linux version. It could be a Red Hat, could be an Ubuntu. So pick any one and practice those commands. No need to by heart each and every command, but make sure you know all the basic commands that is used on everyday usage. All right. So create a cheat sheet maybe, because that will help you to know what all Linux commands are there. There are so many cheat sheets available in the internet, right? So just get one and get used to it. Then coming the DBMS concepts. DBMS concepts, if I expand this, right, you need to know what is an ACID property, what is a transaction, what is an ER diagram, how will you control the concurrency, what is indexing and integrity constraint, what is DDL, DML, and DCL. So these are some database management system concepts that you need to be aware of in order to jump into this particular field or start a career in this field. Along with DBMS concept, you need to also know the data warehousing. So what is basically a data lake, a data warehouse? What is the difference between an OLTP and an OLAP? And how exactly the data is stored in data warehouse. So for that, you need to know what is a fact and what is a dimension. What are the difference between fact and dimension tables? How will you decide whether it will be a fact or dimension? Then comes with schema. Schema can be a star schema, a snowflake schema, or a galaxy schema. So how will you decide what schema you need to use? Every project, everything, depending on the project, basically, it is decided how exactly we decide the schema. So you need to know what is these concepts are, so that when you are in this field or you are enhancing your knowledge, then you know what all these things are and how exactly to implement in your data warehouse. Then let's come to the left side of this roadmap, because right side is complete, right? Let's come to the left side. It's the big data, which is like a buzzword in data engineer. Data engineer doesn't only mean big data, but it's one of the major component of big data in this era, right? So what are the 5 V's of big data? So 5 V's you need to know. If you know those 5 V's, you will be able to answer some questions like, what is big data? Why we use the big data? And how exactly to handle this big data? And what is basically a distributed system or a distributed storage? If there are billions of records, right, petabytes of data, then how exactly will you store those data? Because data is increasing every day. What file formats can you use in order to store the data? And what is basically a Hadoop? Hadoop was the beginning of the big data, right? So, what is in Hadoop? Many people will say to you that Hadoop is gone, it's dead, there's no use of Hadoop. But Hadoop is a base of your big data, right? So what is Hadoop? Why you use Hadoop? What is the architecture behind Hadoop? What is a map reduce? All these things you need to know. Then, if you talk about the big data processing, how exactly will you process your big data? Whether it's a batch processing, whether it's a real time processing. Real time processing, let's say you had Twitter, you are getting tweets every seconds, millions of tweets. So how will you handle that real time streaming? Or if you have a data that's coming in batches every day, then how will you process those data? Because there are millions of data. So for that, we have the Spark technology. In that Spark, either you can use your programming language like Scala or PySpark, or you can use Spark SQL. Then comes the real-time streaming, in which you have your Spark streaming and a batch of link. So if you know the Spark streaming is easier to know how to learn and get into the real-time streaming as well. Once you have good knowledge on big data and its big data processing, jump into your NoSQL database. NoSQL database has your CAP theorem. Learn any one NoSQL database. Either it could be an Edge base, Cassandra, or MongoDB. One will be sufficient to get started with. Once you have written your jobs for your big data processing or real time, right, then you need to schedule it. So how will you schedule it? Either use your Airflow or Azkaban. Airflow is one of the major tool in the market that is available in order to schedule. So learn the Airflow as well in your scheduler. If you have some codes, right, then you need to know how exactly you need to collaborate with your developers. So for that, you need to use your versioning tool. So versioning tool can be either a GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket. So you need to aware of what GitHub actions that you can use in order to merge your code, right, and get into your production. What is basically Jenkins? What is a Docker? What is a Kubernetes? All these things you need to know. Once you are aware of the CI/CD and your versioning control tool, then you have one cloud service. So there are three cloud service major providers. One is AWS, which is Amazon Web Service, Azure, which is your Microsoft service, and GCP is your Google Cloud Platform. So if you know any one of these cloud technology, then you have an upper edge in your company or in whichever company you are going to, right? And if you include these in your resume, it will be an added advantage. So make sure you learn this one cloud service as well. So if you will see, it is very comprehensive roadmap that I've provided. So you don't need to go ahead and get something from one website, other thing from the other website, but make sure you go ahead and learn each and every component of this, and it will be good to go for it. So on this note, I hope you have liked the video and you know now where to start with and how exactly to start with. In the coming videos, definitely I will try to put every component and every detail of the component and make more videos on it. So on this note, I'm signing off for today. Stay tuned in this channel for more videos. Thank you so much.